This is Alex McCallum, who's from Thalmic Labs, and he's going to introduce their new generation of input devices, Mayo.
Hi, everyone. How you doing? Thanks for having me today. I'm, as I said, Alex McCallum from Thalmic Labs, and what Thalmic Labs does is we blur the lines between humans and machines. We're building things today that you wouldn't expect to see for decades. Many of the things that people have put up on the screen in the last couple of presentations they're looking to do, and we think we've accomplished that. Now, this might sound familiar because we believe that a lot of people in this room are probably trying to do the exact same thing, and we're looking to work with you. That's why we're excited about this conference. That's why we wanted to come here, because we wanted to look at augmented reality, this new user interface, and how that's going to affect the consumers and the users that are coming out today. So the new user face, how we've looked at it, to this point is a lot of people have gone back and said, okay, let's do the same way we always have. Let's use touch, let's use voice, let's use a mouse. But that's going to be difficult. So what we have is devices like the Recon Jet, Google Glass, the Moverio. I don't even know what this thing is, but we know that something is going to stick. Users are going to adopt it, they're going to take it into the world, and they're going to be using it in ways that we never thought about. The movies we see, everybody asks for that, but we have no idea. It's going to be the same way that happened with the cell phone and mobility. There's just going to be this new paradigm. And users, they don't want to be constrained. So the problem we have with today is the world's a bright place. So I want to take my technology outside. I don't want to be constrained. There's no longer I'm going to use it in just a lab or use it just in an office. If you look at the youth of today, the users of today, all of us, we take our technology everywhere. We take it to conferences. We take it up on mountains. We take it hiking, and we want to interact with it. The world's a noisy place. We heard that. Voice is great, except if there's 4 of us in a room and we all have Google Glass on and we're all talking that Google Glass, it gets to be a pretty confusing conversation for the glass. The word's dirty. It's noisy. It's dirty in the sense of there's a lot of applications, a lot of use cases where people are wearing gloves, their hands are dirty, or they actually don't want to be touching the device because they could contaminate it in the sense of like a medical environment. The world's a busy place. There's lots of people around you. You're moving all around. Trying to be in front of yourself and be in front of your eyes hasn't worked. We looked at augmented reality in the mobile space when you used to try to hold your camera up in front of you and see the world. That didn't really stick because people don't like that. It's hard to do when you're moving and interacting with the world around you. But most of all, the end consumer wants 2 things. They want discrete control. I want to be able to interact with my technology without having to broadcast it to the rest of the room. And I want it to be intuitive. I don't want to have to relearn or bend to technology. I want technology now to bend to me. So with that, we've created the Mayo. It's a shameless plug, but I had to go for it. So this is our alpha device. So it's out in developers' hands today. Quite simply, how the device works, reads the electrical impulses, the EMG pulses coming down your arm. From there, we can interpret what gesture you're about to make. We then combine that with an IMU, so you have basically your arm or gesture in a 3D space. We combine that, all the computations on the device, and we hand it over low-energy Bluetooth to the developer who's on the host system. They can interpret that gesture however they want, or that event. So I can have, when I do a fist, I want one thing to happen. When I do a fist in a circle, I want something else to happen. Here is a first look at some of the requirements we have. Now, to make this a consumer or a device that someone's going to use, it's got to last. So we have multi-day battery use. Low-energy Bluetooth is our way we connect. And support, we're looking for the developer community to come out and support and start building. We right now have Windows, Mac, Android, and iOS, and others under evaluation, such as the Unity binding that we just released. Our belief is that with the Myo, especially when you look at augmented reality, heads-up displays, that it'll give you and the users an ability to control this and take it out into the natural world. It'll break down the barriers for adoption and allow people to really interact. With the device, you simply slide it on, you do one gesture, and the device is fully trained and ready to go. So I'm going to try to show you guys a couple quick demos. And we'll see if we get... So this is a simple PowerPoint slide. Now, there'll be a little bit of a delay just because of the HDMI, but if I do a gesture, I can quickly move through it. If you think of a heads-up display, I could use this as a toggle through my menu. I could zoom in on a product. I can then grab that, move it around. If I'm thinking about multiple screens, I could actually grab data from one screen, move it to the other, and drop it in. And then I can zoom out. For camera, that's a pretty bright picture of me. So I'm going to change the camera. I'm going to take a picture of you guys. Say hi, wave. Wave for y'all, you guys. Come on, wave. Oh. There you go. Wave again. There we go. All right. I'm not sure if we'll get the volume through this, but one of the things that we looked at when we're developing the product is how do you cut down on false positives? As you can see, I talk a lot with my hands. So how am I going to make sure that when I'm actually working with this, it's not going to pick up something that I don't want it to? We came up with a simple solution. I can actually hold the gesture, disable the Myo. It's not going to listen to me. I can hold the gesture again. Now the Myo's on. It's going to listen to me. If I want, I can change the sides. I can start a song. The song's not going for you guys. It's going for me. There we go. Can you guys? I'll try to turn up the volume. That's as loud as it gets because it's not going through the code. And then I can disable it again. And now it's not going to listen to me. Very intuitive, very simple to use. This is built for the everyday consumer. Oh, and there we go. Myo is going to be shipping over the summer, and we're hoping that we can get involved in the augmented heads-up display virtual reality world, and hopefully I can take questions now if you've got any. Sorry, I'll get the mic first.
We have a question here.
I actually have one about this, too. You said all the processing's done on board at this point. Are you implementing HID over GAT then?
Sorry? So I can hear.
HID over GAT, HID over GAT protocol. Will it work as a generic mouse, keyboard, and can you customize those mappings?
Yes. And yeah, I can't go into further details, but yes.
Okay.
And a question down here, yes.
Hi. The first question is just curious. Why don't you use the Myo to control your presentation slides? And the follow-up question is, because a lot like a drawback of this, this case is a false positive. As a product, how you, like I see you have design gesture to enable and disable, but a lot of times this gesture may still have false negative.
There's different ways to get around that, and yeah, you can switch over. We can. We have a lot of guys that have done PowerPoint presentations, and we didn't want to show any yet, hence why I didn't want to do it today, but we're happy to show you one afterwards. Keyboard mapping, being able to do the stuff like that to choose your own gesture or which gesture you want to use is all in the SDK. A lot of ways that people go around false positives is actually do, we'll call it a wake-up gesture. So you do a gesture full, so you combine two gestures. So you maybe do a gesture like this and then a gesture like this to move the slide. That reduces false positives. Okay.
Do we have another? Yes?
Yeah.
Can I just get a couple of questions? One, does it make any difference which arm you put that on? Is it the same for either one?
We have dual mile support, so you can do two on each arm. They can work together or they can work separately.
Okay.
So.
And the other thing is, does the applications that are done on this platform, are they the ones that determine the gestural library? Or is that come baked in with the product?
Comes baked in right now. So we actually hand over the gestures.
Thanks.
Are there any more questions? Yes, one more, and then I just want to mention that actually Mark kindly ran down to the business center, has got a whole new version of the demo, so please stick around. I just saw a glimpse of it. It's a really awesome demo, and he's going to show it after Stanley Yang from NeuroSky.
So I understand that there's going to be some variation because it's an arm gesture. So do you expect the user to train the system to understand it, or is it?
No, the training, we only have to actually, the user only has to do one gesture to train the device, and the device is trained and oriented on the arm. So it's very simple.
So because it's based on like muscle contractions, does it?
EMG pulses, so the actual
EMG
electrical,
pulses.
yeah, it's actually the electrical impulses, not
So
just the muscles.
is it uniform across a wide population, or do you see a lot
Yep.
of variation?
No, we have it actually across a wide population. There was no impact on sweat, hair, muscle tone. We've tested it all out.
I think, are we good to go? One more question.
Can the users tap on hard surfaces? Is that kind of gesture?
Like tap like this? Like tap
Yes.
on, yeah.
Or on your leg, on a surface?
Yeah, you've got the ability to use it, point, use it as a mouse on a screen, tap. You saw me snapping, all that's possible.
Okay, and it's inside the SDK, the tap.
Some will be the SDK that will be coming out is a developer SDK, and we'll be adding to it over time.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Great. Thank you.
And